We have had the pleasure of having the math coaches, Mrs. Volker and Mrs. Newhart, come in the morning. We've had some data meetings in the morning with our teachers. We've looked specifically at accessing from the teacher's view the student data, and the teachers were really receptive to that information, and several teachers have reached out to the coaches to have them come in and push into their classrooms to provide more hands-on support for our students.
So the math coach said that if you have a low score in your overall math, then you do that one to get it higher. And then if you have another low one, then you just keep on doing the same thing over and over again.
And what happened when you did that?
My diagnostic score went up on iExcel. It's fun and work at the same time.
The biggest way that they have helped so far is with our new grading system. I changed a bit how I assessed, I changed heavily how I assessed my students, and they helped guide me through that process of how will I use the Keystone Algebra 1 standards to both assess my students and then communicate to my students their learning. There's always a desire for co-planning. It's a professional goal. But as we all know, that happens more theoretically than actually, and they are available for that co-planning whenever you need. You have a new idea you want to execute. I have enjoyed working with them very much. They have been a valuable asset to the Bethlehem Area School District.
The impact of math coaches on myself has been significant. As a new teacher to the Bethlehem Area School District, I did not receive any formal training with Desmos prior to the October in-service. Therefore, I relied heavily on both math coaches to guide me through the curriculum, as well as navigating Desmos. Both math coaches have supported myself and my students during lessons, and have also co-taught lessons with me.
I have a magnet. It's shaped like a triangle.
I've always been like the type of teacher who's gonna, if there's a resource available to me, I'm going to take advantage of it. So I reached out and I asked for some support, and they came in right away. So Mrs. Newhart has been in my classroom. She is incredible, especially with us having a new curriculum, with Reveal being new and me being fairly new to kindergarten. I came from teaching 4th grade. I needed someone to kind of give me like a fresh perspective. I needed someone to come in and maybe help me in some of those areas where I was struggling. What the math coaches provide is just like an extra set of eyes, new ideas. When I had one of the math coaches in here with me, there was suggestions on why don't you try this, why don't you try X, Y, and Z. And the next time I did the lesson, I implemented some of those ideas, and all of a sudden I had a concept that my kiddos couldn't grasp last year, all of a sudden we're grasping it this year.
The tech coach role has had a huge impact on not only me, but my students in the classroom. For me, being a new teacher, it has allowed me to collaborate on what's available to me from the district as far as technology. It helps me keep my lessons creative and kids engaged. And then it really empowers the students to come back into the classroom once they've had their experience with the tech coach, their lesson with the tech coach. They can come back and they're empowered to teach other students what they learned.
So I work closely with the technology coaches, especially Yvonne Zundell. She's been immensely helpful with implementing the new Immersive Learning Center here at Freedom High School. Before the ILC opened up, she was instrumental in helping me establish new technologies with our teachers here and getting, making sure everything was COPA compliant and what features we already implemented and had paid for and things like that. So I would say working with the coaches and having somebody in that position really helps establish best practices and uses of technology. We can throw technology at students and teachers all day, but having a coach who is aware and trained in the best practices to use the technology and then teach me and other people on how to use them in the classroom is super helpful.
Our tech coach comes into the classroom. He has a wonderful relationship with the kids, and he helps with projects. Whatever we're working on in class, he ties in the technology piece. We have been able to do some really cool things with different Google products and different programs because of his help. He always seems to know like what the new and trending thing is in technology. So he's come in and said, hey, I have this new program, I want to try it. And then he'll kind of use my class as a test, as a trial. And then if it's something that he thinks is worthwhile, he has already shared it with grade level partners and other people in other grades. And I know that they really appreciate the stuff he brings to the table. Tech coaches absolutely are vital to what we do every day in school.